Welcome back to another episode of the Profitable Home Service Podcast. This is the show where we uncover hidden profit leaks that help you build a business that's not just busy, but wildly profitable. I'm your host, Diane Gardner, and today we're going to go off topic one more time. We did that earlier, and we're going to do it again. I have some information that's just been on my heart lately and thought I would deviate from our normal practice of interviewing somebody and just share some of what I've been thinking about that will help you have a more profitable business, a business that's less stressful, and one that you love again. I want to look at the myth that says I just need to sell more. I know we have to have sales, and I admire all the sales training people out there, the coaches and the gurus and things like that, because that's not my wheelhouse, is not in sales. But I want to say that more sales won't save your business. All too often, I see home service business owners when I'm working with them in my coaching programs. I see them thinking if I can just hit the next sales bracket, everything will be okay. If I'm at 1 million, if I can get to 1.5. If I'm at 2 million, if I can get to 3. If I'm at 5 million, if I can get to 7 or 10 or whatever that next level is, everything will be better. And I see home service businesses working harder than ever. They're taking on more jobs. And at the end of the day, they're still wondering why there's just nothing left over. You're not alone. I see it constantly. In fact, I've even heard the phrase that says, I made more money when it was just me and maybe one or two guys than there is now that I am this big multi-million-dollar company. And that makes me sad when I hear that. And so if we can move our mindset from just concentrating on sales and looking at where those silent profit leaks are in our business. You may or may not have seen our new little mascot called Sneaky Leaky. If you think of a bucket of water with drips dropping out of it, Sneaky Leaky is a drip. He's a profit leaking drip. And I want to tell you that Sneaky Leaky is in every aspect of your business. He's in your cost of goods sold, quietly eroding your gross profit. He's in your overhead, quietly eroding your net profit. He's in your team in the form of inefficiencies. He's in your scheduling. He's in your overall office operations. He's in your systems and processes. We are leaking profit in every aspect of our businesses, and we just don't know about it. We're so busy trying to hit that next sales level. In fact, I have seen home service business owners, as their sales volume increases, their net profit decreases. And there's a problem sitting out there, but because they're going so fast that they just don't ever stop to address it. If I can just sell more. If I can just sell more. Well, I wanted to share some steps with you that can help put a band-aid or plug these profit leaks and talk through our profit blueprint that we have just briefly. And at the end of this episode, I'll give you a chance to register for our next upcoming class in September. So I just wanted to come back in and talk to you about Jake. Jake is an HVAC owner. When Jake came to me, he was so happy his business had just hit $5 million in sales. He was ecstatic. He had been working hard to hit that sales level for years. He'd been working hard. He had trucks going everywhere. The phones were ringing nonstop. His team was working overtime. And from the outside, he looked like a picture of success. The community saw him as a community leader. He was everywhere. He could be seen everywhere. But when I sat down and we looked at his numbers, he was keeping only a tiny fraction of that revenue as profit. And to top that off, he was stressed out, he was exhausted, he was ready to call it quits. Now, I don't know if any of you can empathize with Jake. You may have found yourself there at some point. You might even be there today, exhausted, ready to throw in the towel. Especially as we're recording this, we're coming into the end of summer and you've had a busy summer. You haven't had a day off in weeks, probably. When we're told that we just need more jobs so we can make more money, we are being conditioned to think that revenue is the main success metric. And we don't have clear visibility into drilling down into the costs, potential overhead creep, and wasted time. Those are huge profit leaks in home service businesses. When we're only concentrating on top line revenue, we often make the assumption that fixed costs will stay flat. And oftentimes they don't. Now, let me back up the difference between fixed and variable costs. Fixed costs are your overhead type costs, the things that have to be paid every single month, your rent, your utilities, your phone, things like that. Your variable costs are directly related to a job. So if we weren't doing the job, we wouldn't incur the costs. But what happens is as your business gets bigger, say Jake going from 1 million to 5 million, those fixed costs have grown. They didn't stay static. There's more software. There's more dues and subscriptions because of some of the software things. There's um, more phones that you're paying for. There's more iPads. There's more all of those kinds of things that cost money. The insurance amount has gone up. You've got more people out there, more sales. Workers' comp has gone up. Payroll taxes have gone up. All those types of things increase as we build out our sales. Well, the real problem is when we have growth and nice, healthy growth, but we don't have a profit system in it, your leaks often get multiplied. Underpricing means that you're not making as much money on each job. And when you multiply that out over the volume that you're doing, that can be a pretty scary picture. Recently, I was coaching with a home service business owner, and we started looking at different kinds of jobs that he was doing. And one particular kind of job, he had a respectable gross profit on it. But as we dug into another type of job, we found out that that gross profit on that job was only about 15%. And it was not enough to sustain all of the overhead costs and stuff that had to be carried in the company. So in essence, he was losing money on that kind of a job. So then there was a big decision. Do we continue offering that service or do we just increase the price? And so there was a bunch of discussion around that before a decision was made. But growth without a profit system often doesn't take into account that your overhead grows as your revenue grows. You have more staff. You might have added in a manager or those types of things, or multiple managers in there. You have more trucks, more vehicle repairs, more fuel, more truck payments, those types of things, more tools, whether they're just small tools or big ones, more software. And when you have a bigger team scurrying around and they're just busy, 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 there's a lot of inefficiencies in that team. There's wasted time on the road, our windshield time. There are wasted unbilled hours that you may not even be aware of. I remember coaching with an electrical company out of Florida a few years back and finding out how much time was being wasted because the job materials weren't ordered correctly for each job. And so therefore the electricians would run to the parts house to get the pieces they need. While they were there, they would stand around and visit with whoever was there and eat popcorn and things like that. And we found out it was taking about an hour to run over and pick up a piece of something and come back. Well, that wasn't calculated into the cost of the job that they had bid out. And so they were losing a ton of money and they didn't even know it. Coming back to our sales without a profit plan, you just flat can't outsell a profit leak. The more sales you have, the more money or the more profit leaks that get pushed out through your broken bucket. So let's take a look at 4 tips that you can do to start fixing this. Our first tip is to measure your profit margin on every job. Now, I know you don't have time. I get it, stop. You don't have time to stop and look at every single job, but we can look at every type of job. And we can pull some samples from different kinds of jobs that you do. And we can break those jobs down into how much time did it actually take, pulling the actual costs for the parts and the materials and stuff that you used, factoring in who worked on the job. Not every employee is paid the same amount per hour. What are the benefits and things that you pay your team? Factoring in the unbillable time for that team member, adding that to their fully burdened labor cost. This is a quick way to reveal which type of job's actually worth doing. Not all jobs are equal. And we really want to concentrate on those higher profit margin kinds of jobs. Tip number 2 is to revisit your pricing regularly. Now, I know some of you got it dialed in because your CRM is doing that for you. Others don't. And it's more of a manual type thing, or it's an upload to something. So it's not something that happens seamlessly. And I know that prices continue to increase constantly. I mean, just go to the grocery store and something that you used to pay $2 for is now $4 or $5. Well, I know it's the same way in your world. A part has gone up dramatically since the beginning of COVID, which is about 5 years ago, maybe 6 now. So we really want to dig into our costs and make sure our pricing reflects a true cost and the profit margin that you need to get on of each type of job. And oftentimes this involves a mindset shift. The mindset says, wait a minute, I can't increase my prices, I'll lose my customers. But you have 2 choices. Either we say there's plenty of customers and I'll be okay if I have to increase my prices, or we grow broke. And we grow and we grow, and the more we grow, the lesser and lesser and lesser the smaller amount our profit is until finally there's none. And you might be a big company with no profit. And that's a terrible way to end up. And then coming back to revisiting our pricing regularly, sometimes just a small increase is all it takes to cover the cost creep and protect your margin. Maybe it's just a 2 or a 3% increase. Doesn't always have to be big, 10 or 15% increase. So just constantly going in and checking that every couple months, checking our pricing, make sure we're staying on top of it. I remember talking to a couple different owners, maybe a couple years ago, and one guy said he hadn't raised his prices in 2 years. And when we dug into it, he was losing money on every job and he couldn't figure out why he couldn't pay the bills. They were so busy. So pricing can be a really big one. And then tip number 3, watch for overhead creep. This is where we look for recurring expenses. And people in my coaching groups, we pull out credit card statements and we pull out bank statements. And periodically we go through them with a highlighter. We actually print them out on paper. Yes, it's old school. Print them out on paper, sit there with a highlighter. And we look for things that we don't recognize. Or we're looking for things that maybe we haven't used in a long time. We can almost always find something that we can cancel the subscription on, add that money back into your bottom line profits. Overhead creep happens so quickly and easily, especially as your team gets larger. This person needs this, whatever it might be, and that person's asking for this, and somebody else wants something else over here. And because you're a good boss or a good leader, you let them order whatever it is that they're wanting, but maybe that's not really needed. And this causes your overhead to start creeping up a percentage point at a time. Tip number 4 is track and reduce wasted time. Oh, this one's a big, big profit leak in home service businesses. We are looking at dispatch inefficiencies. Are we sending guys out there and not equipping them to be able to do the job when they get there? Or they're not getting the right directions or the right address, or something happens. Are we missing parts? Or are we waiting on approvals that are stopping us and slowing us down so they can't just get the job done? Even 15 minutes per day per tech adds up to six figures in lost revenue annually. That's a huge number just from wasted, inefficient time. And this doesn't even take into account the callbacks where you send somebody back out to fix something that didn't get done right the first time. Now, not only do you have to pay that person the second time to go out and fix it, but they weren't able to do another job. So you got a double whammy on that one. So this can quickly eat into your revenue, can eat into your profits. So tip number one was measure your profit margin on every single job. Tip number two, revisit your prices regularly. Tip number three, watch for overhead creep. Tip number four, track and reduce wasted time. These 4 tips are not going to get you all the way there, but they will give you a good start, get you moving in the right directions. They will help you to start keeping more of what you earned, but they're just the tip of the iceberg. To truly protect your profit, you need a system. You need one that diagnoses leaks. It restructures your cash flow so you always pay yourself first, and it keeps your business running lean as you grow. And that's exactly what we will walk through in my live masterclass called Your Profit Blueprint, beginning on Tuesday, September 23rd at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. In about an hour, you'll see how to stop the financial bleeding in your business, how to create some predictable profit, and build a business that supports your life and not just your stress, because we really want to reduce that stress in your lives. Check the show notes below for the link to register for the class. We'd love to have you there. It's an important class. This blueprint works over and over. We've used it for many, many, many clients. And I will say I've used it in my own business, and it has transformed my own business. So quick recap for you. More sales aren't the solution if the money is slipping through the hidden cracks or the hidden leaks. Start by understanding your numbers, knowing them, adjusting your pricing, controlling overhead, and reclaiming wasted time. Don't let another month go by where it leaves you wondering where it all went. Join me live and let's fix this together. Once again, the Profit Blueprint Masterclass is on September 23rd at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And we'll be doing it on Zoom. For those who stay to the end, we've got a little gift for you. So we're looking forward to seeing you there. And as always, we've delivered some profit leaks for you on this episode of the Profitable Home Services Podcast. Remember, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. That is the important piece in running a profitable business. And if you have found value in this episode or in others, would you please like the episode and subscribe where you can? Also, would you go out to our YouTube channel and like and subscribe out there? We are so close to hitting our first 100 viewers, or subscribers, I should say. So help us get over that 100 point and be able to reach that first whatever you want to call it, our first level out there in the YouTube land. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Profitable Home Services Podcast. Thank you. Bye-bye.